Justin Jefferson is having a really good rookie season so far. He's currently at 762 receiving yards in 9 games, so that's obviously very impressive, and he's doing it with averaging 14.1 yards per reception, which is 4th best in the NFL. So he's getting a lot of yards per catch. And, some people like the guys who get more catches, and some people like the guys who get, more yards on less catches. But regardless, he's doing an incredible job and is currently 7th best in the NFL at racking up receiving yards. A play like this is how he's honestly gotten a large chunk of his yards. I mean, I think it's probably about half of his yards have come from this exact same concept. It's a very simple concept, but Minnesota loves to run it, where it's going to be a cover 3 zone that Atlanta is in on this play. And so they have Justin Jefferson running a crossing route over the middle. They're also going to have Adam Thielen run a deeper route. And the way this works is that it's going to be a play action, and since they have Dalvin Cook, or even when they didn't have Dalvin Cook, since they run the ball so much, the opposing defense is going to be aware of a potential run, and so they're going to move in. You then have, with Thielen, he's pushing defenders back, which then means that for Jefferson, there could be a big gap where Cousins can make the play. Cousins fakes the handoff. This does get linebackers out of position. Eventually, Jefferson gets open. Cousins is able to make the catch. Cousins is able to make the throw, and Jefferson makes a pretty nice catch. Again, that's not a crazy play from Jefferson, and that's where a lot of his catches come from. So I think maybe haters will say, well, hey, he's not actually that good. It's just the scheme that's getting him some receiving yards. And there is some truth to that, but not a lot. Like, the truth to it is that there's just so much that has to go right on that play, and so many different players have to do a good job on that play. Sometimes as a wide receiver, you can just win your one-on-one matchup, and that's all you have to do. These plays, you need the linebackers to get fooled with the running game, so the play action has to work. You also need Thielen to run a good route deep, and you still need a good throw from Cousins, which, you need that on every play. But regardless, there's just a lot that has to go right. And so I think some people will say, well, that it's not as impressive because it's really a team effort, and he's just playing a role. And while that is true, that's also not accounting for all of the times that Cousins screws up, or the line screws up, or Thielen screws up. And so everything does have to go right, but it doesn't always do that, and sometimes that takes yards away from him just as much as it gives yards to him. Like right here, it's going to be, again, same concept, so same idea, and watch what happens on this one. Again, it's play action. Cousins fakes the handoff. He looks up, and if he threw it right now, he has an opening. But the problem is Cousins it just took a little bit too long for him to make this throw. And at a certain point, you do have to just get rid of this football. However, Cousins didn't do a great job at doing that on this play. He waits too long, and Deion Jones, quite frankly, just makes an incredible interception on that play. So, wasn't great from Cousins. Wasn't a disaster from Cousins either. It was a great play from Deion Jones. And so that kind of happens, right? So, yes, on one hand, he gets some more added yards because of the system, but on the same time, he loses yards that way as well. And also, like on this one, what's going to be happening on this one is that you're going to see Justin Jefferson really run his route well to help this system work, because that's the thing. It really isn't like he's just running over the middle. It's not like something anyone can do. A lot of it is speed, and a lot of it is route running. Route running can still come into play on a play like this. So as you see, it's the same, scheme. It's the same idea. Cover 3 zone. Thielen runs deep. Jefferson runs over the middle. But I really want you to just pay close attention to Jefferson on this play. Watch how he starts running deep, but notice how he makes a move almost as if he's going to continue running deep and then cuts over the middle. And that helps push the Houston players who are already going deep, because you have Thielen there, even further deep. Just a really well-ran route by Jefferson. And so, again, yes, it's a specific system, but I think that he deserves some credit because of how good he is at running these routes in this system. Like, yeah, in theory, it would be great to have Antonio Brown or something like that, or have him be Antonio Brown, but like, hey, okay, your rookie wide receiver isn't quite at an elite level just yet, but you know what he's doing well? He's doing one specific thing really well, and sometimes that's all you need, because I'd rather a wide receiver that's great at something than someone who's just mediocre at everything. And this can set things up as well, where you can run a play like this, where it's a similar idea, right? It looks like it's going to be the same play, but at the last moment, Jefferson, after cutting over the middle, is then going to cut to the outside. And this is a really good play call. I love when people do things like this, where, as you know, for Houston, they probably said, okay, we've seen this play 1,000 times on tape. We're not going to get fooled with it. And so the defensive back who's in charge of covering the top right corner of the screen, which would be deep left for Kirk Cousins, he's going to say, you know what, I'm not going to let him beat me over the middle. I'll crash in if I see this play concept is happening. And this time, as you see, again, similar idea for Jefferson right here. Notice how well he's selling that he's running over the middle. I mean, if you're a defensive back, you're totally expecting this to be a run over the middle, and it would make total sense. I mean, because you've seen this on tape a million times, but this time they're just sort of using what the opposing team is going to do to prepare for Minnesota against them. Jefferson breaks to the outside, is able to get open, not wide open either. I mean, that was actually pretty well played, but regardless, he's still able to get wide open, he's still able to get open, and that is a pretty easy throw for Cousins to make, and it was good route running, really, more than anything. So, again, yes, it's a lot of these plays are the same thing, but how well he runs it just sets things up. And I also should be clear, it's not like that's the only thing Jefferson does. Like, it's not like he can only run one route. That's what a lot of what he does. But as I said, that's accounted for probably about half of his yards. That still leaves another half of his yards that are being on other plays. And he's been really impressive with a lot of those types of routes as well. So do not get fooled by just the fact that I'm talking about one type of concept a lot. That is his bread and butter, but he does plenty else well. Like this one, for example. It's a little Haas concept on the bottom of the screen. It's going to be man coverage, and what the concept is that you have your receiver closest to the sideline, your plus receiver. He's going to just run a few yards and then kind of stop. And then you have Jefferson. He's going to run outside the numbers eventually, and this is going to create a one-on-one matchup. You'll have a little bit of space. And the safety's over the middle, and you're going to be outside the numbers, so this means that you could potentially get open. Watch Jefferson's first step here. I love this. This is fantastic. So what he's doing is he's getting ready, and he's kind of slowing down a little bit as he's about to put weight on his right foot. And typically when you do this, it means you're going to cut to your left, right? Because you put the weight on your right foot, then you can easier go to your left because, that's just the angle. However, Jefferson is doing this intentionally. This is part of what good route running is the first step. And oftentimes on plays, your first step and your first couple steps, that's everything. It's the first second of the play that tends to win it or lose it. And Jefferson is able to get open by cutting to his right, which definitely that Atlanta player did not expect. Just a really well-ran route. Great first step. He's doing a lot really well. He's just a rookie, and he's already doing a lot of tremendous stuff. So, I think for Philadelphia, they might be scratching their heads a little bit, saying, man, we should have gotten this guy. Although I like Jalen Reagor as well. But, the fact that this guy was, I believe, the 5th wide receiver taken in the draft, and he's playing as well as he is, honestly, he's doing as much as Stephon Diggs did when he was with Minnesota. So, kind of looks like a good trade from that standpoint. He's playing great, and it's fun to see. It's always fun to see these rookie guys come in and really be great at stuff, and he's been great at a few things, and he's been really good at everything else. So, the sky is the limit for Jefferson, young and getting better. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.